welcome to Season 2 of Our World with Norman Busigu. Now, the premise of this show is quite simple. I'm going to report on and explore important topics affecting real people like you and me. Now, within this, there are two aims. Firstly, to have a positive social impact, and secondly, to inform. Now, in this episode, I'll be delving deep into matters of the heart to explore how we go about finding love in this online digital era that we now exist in. Yes, I'll be examining how the nature of dating has dramatically shifted from the 1980s into what we see today. And I'll also be attempting to answer some very serious questions such as, how did we get to this point in time where love is seemingly one finger tap or swipe away? Have all of these changes made love more difficult to find? And what are some of the impacts of these changes on our mental health? Stay tuned because you don't want to miss this. Whether we like it or not, the times have definitely changed, as dating culture has shifted itself into an online virtual landscape. More and more of us are finding our potential partners online rather than through more traditional means such as through friends, on a night out, or through colleagues at work. And this is especially true as many of us are literally confined to our homes and unable to go out and meet new people because of lockdowns and social distancing requirements due to the coronavirus pandemic. But with that said, the changes that I've alluded to so far shouldn't really come as a surprise. This is because over the last 4 decades, there's been a gradual shift towards this online love virtual landscape. And to understand what I mean by this, we need to take several steps back in time. The 1970s and 1980s was said to be a time of greater sexual freedom. And during this time came the emergence and widespread availability of this, the VHS tape. Now, although today, this chunky piece of plastic doesn't really mean that much, back in the day, it was a very powerful tool that enabled individuals to watch and record themselves back without needing to invest in expensive equipment. So from this, the 1980s saw a wave of personalized videotape advertisements, with people making videos of themselves, selling themselves as to why they'd be a great date, a great partner, and much, much more. Let's have a watch of the following video to see what this actually looked like in practice.
I'm looking for the goddess. Are you the goddess? Who is the goddess? The goddess is the woman, is a woman, is any woman, is all women.
A figure that is sexy, slim, tight, excellent legs.
I'm a 25-year subscriber to both Playboy and the New Yorker magazine.
At night, I operate a damsel in distress hotline. I guess you'd call me a knight.
One of my favorite foods is pizza.
Then, of course, came the internet, which completely changed the human experience. Match.com, which first went live in 1995, was the world's first online dating platform. And with the gift of hindsight, it's fair to say that this really sparked the trend of online dating platforms and apps that we see today, as they've enabled individuals to form romantic and even sexual relations with individuals without having yet met them in real life. Now, believe it or not, when YouTube was first launched in 2005, its founders said that its intended purpose was to be a video version of an online dating service. With the launch of Tinder in 2012, iPhone-owning people of all sexualities could start looking for love, or sex, or casual dating. Fast forward to 2021, and we have a seemingly endless resource of dating apps and platforms, including Bumble, Hinge, Coffee Meets Bagel, Happen, and other specialized dating apps designed for smaller communities, like JSwipe for Jewish singles and Muzmatch for Muslims. As for the LGBT community, some research indicates that they were early adopters of online dating. Yes, a study published in 2019 called Disintermediating Your Friends found that of those surveyed, about 65% of same-sex couples in 2017 met online, which can be compared to the 39% of heterosexual couples. Now, this dramatic shift in how we find our romantic partners that I've been explaining throughout this episode so far has really sparked a lot of discussion and debate as to what some of the long-term impacts will be on us as humans, and I briefly want to explore some of the good and the bad. So, starting with the good. Well, to begin with, there's no denying that these platforms bring a sense of ease and efficiency when searching for dates. I mean, think about it. No longer do we need to go to networking events or go on date after date after date to find somebody, because Now we've got thousands upon thousands of people and profiles just waiting on these apps, waiting to be explored. Secondly, it's fair to say that for many people around the world, these apps and platforms are fun, popular, and in demand, with BusinessInsider.com finding that Tinder has over 50 million active users online, and with the average user spending 90 minutes per day on the app. And lastly, these platforms and apps add a real economic value to society, with TSB Bank finding that these apps contribute approximately £11 billion to the UK economy every year. On the other side, however, there are some downsides that are worth considering. So firstly, some can argue that these platforms and apps dehumanize the dating experience and make the dating landscape a much crueler place and can negatively impact one's mental health and self-confidence. A study by the University of Texas in 2016 found that dating app users report lower self-esteem and lower psychosocial well-being than non-users, potentially due to the increased experience of rejection. Secondly, the seemingly limitless choices that we have on these platforms and apps can arguably work to our detriment, because think about it. The seemingly endless sea of choices that we have now available to us could actually lead to us not choosing or finding anyone at all. And it's interesting because this comes at a time when more and more people are choosing to remain single altogether or delay marriage. Yes, according to data from The Independent in 2020, the number of opposite-sex couples getting married in England and Wales had fallen to the lowest level in history. And lastly, with more people choosing to jump on these platforms and apps day by day, well, this brings into question just how safe and protected our private information really is, especially in modern times with there being more and more data scandal breaches and incidents happening with our information that's put online. With or without technology, the dating world has its challenges, no matter how you decide to play it, online or offline. The question now becomes, does one risk being left behind if they avoid these dating apps and platforms altogether? The relationship economy has certainly changed in terms of how we as humans find and court our potential partners. But what people are looking for is largely the same: long-lasting companionship or sexual satisfaction. It's just the means by which we find our other half which is changing. But what's definitely clear is that the online dating world is something which has been developing for decades and will continue to evolve. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Our World of Norman Busigu, and until the next time, stay safe and stay blessed.